वाला सर
नहीं
चल अच्छा है
हाँ ये देखिए
काल के छते थे
आई मीन लिखा लाइव છે जखन लोग आपन लगते ठीक છે
अच्छा
फिर उनका से
तो ओकरा कह दें जे आई एम लाइव ई लाइव छे
हां दिस इज लाइव
कहाँ छे देखिए
ऑन
हाँ 18 seconds yes hi Shupriyo hello Candy साउंड क्या नहीं अब रहे
हां के थोड़े के साउंड है
नहीं
हेलो या कैन यू सी हिम लाइव
I can see Supriyo
hear him also awesome you're audible
huh
you're audible
so can I hear the sound or no
no you can't hear anything because it's just you talking to audience
oh okay I can see Nilanjana Supriyo
okay so the questions will come in the comment section
okay
and then you can begin so should we begin yeah you can start talking
okay so lovely to have everyone here and sorry we couldn't do it yesterday I'm glad that we are here today again all Bengalis for giving up on their afternoon nap including me who's half Bengali so all good to go okay so we are on and how do we know that we are on
it's when it's showing you live on the top left
so that means it need not show the
it will minimize
progress.
the number will minimize
which number
the seconds wala counter which you just saw here
hmm.
this thing if you're live you'll see number of viewers here
oh okay
yeah
yeah
and the
okay.
comments and if someone types anything the questions all of them
so I am visible to them but I cannot see them
no it's live because you are being broadcasted na
okay Tampu how are you thank you so I can see lots of people so okay let me hear what you want to know I missed out Usha Dees yesterday but I believe it went on great she's a great raconteur she talks very well and she had some of the most lovely sessions with R.D. Burman spent so here may I know how many of you saw the film again and how many of you saw it for the first time anyone who saw the film the first time here Shupriyoda hello till I get a question I do not know what all I can keep talking about but yes one thing that I would like to talk about in these corona times is that I feel that R.D. Burman went through his own lockdown period. I think this is something that is very heavy on my mind in these times. We are thankful to you, Tampu Bhai. Yes, Chaita saw your film yesterday, saw the legend in a new light. Okay, so you seem to have seen the film the first time. Shupriyoda, what was the real motivation to make this film? Now I like this question. The real motivation was a feeling for this great genius, I think. Like I would feel that constantly every 27th of June, which is his birthday, and 4th of January, which is his passing away day, all these channels would suddenly wake up and create 5-minute capsule, 10-minute capsule, and say that, well, this was a man ahead of his times and he was a genius. And nobody ever made any concerted effort, any definitive effort to understand what the genius was or how he created music, why was his music ahead of his time, and things like that. So my attempt started from a certain anger with these channels, which I thought was not doing enough, and probably their scope was not enough. So I thought, let me understand who R.D. was through the people who worked closely with him and how he worked and how he thought and who he was. And that's what I did in 2.5 years, and I have shared it with you people in the form of a film. We scored a century in last night movie viewership. Lovely, lovely. That's very nice. Please talk about other films too, Kalyan Banerjee. Other films, well, I have done a couple of prominent films before that, then many after that. And hi Samir, I can see you. Arubinda Chakrabarti, so many things to know about his creativity, the film. Well, so just to talk about other films that Kalyan Banerjee has mentioned. So I had made films before R.D. Burman, and some 4-5 of them were very big success in terms of film festivals and other places, though they were all under an hour in length. So this was my first 2-hour film in a way, and I have made films after that. I have made a film on Jagjit Singh, which is again an equally loved film, so to say. Then I made a feature film called Chalte last year, and they are all on different, like Kagaz Ki Kashti, one on Jagjit Singh is on Amazon Prime, and Jhalki released late last year and should be around somewhere or the other very soon. We have just signed a deal with an international distributor who distribute a lot of Oscar nominated films as well, so some interesting things happening with that also. But coming back to this film, this is my real Oscar, I feel, the R.D. Burman film, because wherever I screen, how many times people see the kind of response that I get is mind-blowing. People love the film, and there is something about the film I don't know what it is. I myself don't know what it is, but it resonates with people, and it gives them a sort of understanding. It makes them feel a little frustrated, it makes them feel a little sad, and it fills them with hope. And I think it gives them lots and lots of lessons. That please, Chaita Sarkar asks, please share your experience while making this film. Well, so it was a 2.5-3 years kind of an experience, and a lot of these people who I have featured in the film, they were not very easy to be featured. I knew about 10% of them, 15% of them, and rest all I approached separately, and 80% of them were nice, they were kind, they were positive. 20% of them were a little difficult, or like lethargic, so to say, and out of those 20, maybe 5 were really difficult. Otherwise it was a very enjoyable explanation. It was a very enjoyable experience. Congratulations for quintessential sunshine man. Yes, that's the name that another friend Vineet Panchi has given, because he is creating a series of 10 minutes, 5 minute, 12 minute kind of films called Lessons for Lockdown, and that is what I think he and I, we got talking, and I said that, well, ये corona virus का जैसा lockdown है, lockdowns like these happen in people's lives. Let's see what lessons we can get from R.D. Burman. And one of the lessons that I think we got was that his father had taught him, S.D. Burman. He had told him that, look, there will be times when you will have work, when you have film, and there will be times when you may not have films in your pocket. But not having films in your pocket does not mean you don't have work. Your work is to create tunes, and you start your day and end your day by creating tunes and making a bank of it, and just go on. You're a musician. So I think that's what I got to learn, that if you're an artist, if you're a painter, you'll paint. If you're a musician, you'll create music. If you're a novelist, you'll write. Does not matter whether you're commissioned, whether your work is coming your way. I think Maya Angelou has that lovely line, or I think it is her, that a bird sings not because it needs to communicate. A bird sings because it has a song inside. So I think R.D. Burman, no matter what his low period was, what I think when he was being operated for the heart in 1988, 88, I think, uh, he created some 2000 tunes. That's what he is on record saying. Now, where those 2000 tunes is a different thing, but I think that it's an amazing thing to think that here was a man who was constantly creating music, irrespective of whether the film was he was doing well, he was not doing well. And so I think so these are the things that we thought, and Vineet said, let's create a series called Lessons for the Lockdown. Then Candy Dell loved watching it again. Yes, you have watched it so many times. I'm happy you could watch it again here. Music clips are placed so aptly for in this treasured biopic. Yes, the idea was to, because we were working against resources, in the sense that we didn't have that big a budget, we didn't have available footage of R.D. Burman, because in those days the trend was not that people would move with a handy cam behind a celebrity and capture everything that he was doing. So we just used photographs, and we used the songs in a way that it told his story to move forward and things like that. So, and there again, like when I was talking about lessons for lockdown, one of the other lessons was that he had composed that song Hum Dono Do Premi when there was officially a musician's strike day going on. So the resources that he had was very limited. So just like we have these days and in so many other phases. So that is an opportunity for us to rise above the situation and create something which is still quality wise as good, or maybe even better, because of the resources, lack of resources, limited resources. So those are all, I think, very, very interesting learning lessons. How he would create music, how he would not be bothered about the norms. If it was a song which had which starts with Tori and then goes into some other rag, it just with the help of just three tongues, tung tung tung, sham ka bhula. So you could move. There is no grammar there, like normally you'll have an interlude between two stanzas, between the mukra and the stanza, but there's just three notes, three bars, and that's it. You have the thing. Same again. He continued to break the norms, like a normal trend would be where you have a mukra at an X pitch, and the antara would always go a little higher. But look at Ye Jawani Ye Diwani, where it starts Ye Jawani Ye Diwani, and then the antara is Baatein Mulakatein tada tarara. Now these were very unconventional things. Rarely would you hear songs whose mukra is high and antara is low. How he created these things was because he felt whatever sounds good to the ear is what is grammar. And I think I took a very similar way while making the film. I felt that whatever works is grammar. And so somebody has asked me to talk about Dr. Satyarthi also. Satyarthi Saab I'll mention a little later once we are through with the R.D. Burman thing. Vishwajit Ghosh, interesting documentary, thank you. Candidel, somehow while growing up I always felt he would be here forever. I would love to see him grow old like his father. Well, you can't see him grow old, but he is there. I feel that. And there was one reality show on which there was a 9-year-old girl who sang brilliantly, and one of the judges asked him that what does she want to do when she wants to grow up and things like that, and she said, I want to sing for R.D. Burman. She is not even aware that R.D. Burman is no longer there. He is so much in the public consciousness. Similarly, I think when Candy was screening the film in Australia, someplace, I think you had mentioned that they had no idea that R.D. Burman was no longer there. So for those who have no idea that R.D. Burman is no longer there, he exists. And for those who know that R.D. Burman is no longer there, I feel we know that he exists. Because it's amazing that without any PR machinery, without any extra effort, there is so much of him that is being talked about, that is being done 26 years after he died, 25 years after he passed away at 26. So, it's not so easy to have this kind of a following. And when you have a presence like that, I refuse to believe that he is no longer there. So I think he is very much there. I am keen to do another series of 6 1-hour part series called the Pancham Legacy. Well, I'm not having my grips on the resources to do it, so let's see how and when I do it. But the idea is that to capture this unending and continuous resources legacy that R.D. Burman shows. I mean, there are any number of places where people are singing him, people are remixing him. iPhone X ad of 2018 March had a sequence we all know from the burning train, and I think that a little before that there was the Heineken beer ad which had track from Hare Rama Hare Krishna. Today, when the remixes are being done, when the world concerts are being done, they are performing Mehbooba Mehbooba. No, they are not performing Demi Russo's track. So, from which the song Mehbooba Mehbooba is copied, so to say. But he always added a new dimension to whatever he did, even when he copied things or lifted things. How did the tagline for Pancham, why did you मुझे चलते जाना है? Yes. So मुझे चलते जाना है happened actually very interesting incident. I was in Karachi with at a film festival with another film called Rag Pickers, which I had done. And on the closing day, after the main event, there was a party at the director's Hassan Zaidi's place, and there were 4-5 of us from Bombay, including Sudhir Mishra. And Hassan had called a group of musicians, 3-4 who had an octapad and a guitar and a mic and was singing. And so he sang many songs, and then he started singing in a very high pitched way, very different take on Musafiro Yaro Mujhe Chalte Jaana Hai. And I think I was 4-5 drinks down, and I leaned next to me. I think it was Sudhir Mishra, and I leaned next to him, and I said, that I think this is the last straw. I am going to go back to Bombay and start work on that film that I wanted to make on R.D. Burman, and I'm going to call it Mujhe Chalte Jaana Hai. So I came back, started working. I think it was not easy, but 2.5, 3 years later, the film was ready and it was called Mujhe Chalte Jaana Hai. Whatever you take steps to do, जावेद अख्तर साहब का एक लाइन है, कदम उठाओ तो मंजिल रास्ता बन जाती है. तो I felt like doing, I wanted to do, I took a step. There were ups and downs that came. Someone asked me what were the challenges. There were many that came, but at the end of 2.5 years, it got done. Try to utilize some tracks from late Pancham Sir's album Pantera. Yes, Kololda. I think Sameer is very closely associated with Neeludi and Janina and others. That's Pete Gavankar's family, and I think even they would love a recreation, a reproduction, a re-release of Pantera. So I think either the tracks can be taken and remixed into some film songs, or maybe Pantera should be re-released. I think Pantera was also way ahead of its time, and Pantera was 82 when it was created, with a set of musicians, a few of them who used to play for Carlos Santana. They felt that this was a unique experience. Joe Flores, who wrote to me after the film was made, he said that what an amazing man. Even recently I woke up with his dreams, with Pancham Da in his dreams, and he was singing, and I created from that a CNBC ka jingle, where even the chord structure that I have there is what Pancham used to use, and I have used his gypsy voice meaning वो अपना देश वाला गाना जो है वो वैसा वाला बना करके. So I suddenly, it struck me. I said that look at the impact that this guy had. 20 days of togetherness with the musicians there, rehearsing, recording, all those, and 30 years later, this guy is still waking up with R.D. Burman in his dreams, is still creating jingles with his chord structure and things like that, and is feeling very comfortable giving credit that, so you can imagine the kind of human being he must have been and the kind of impact that he must have had on people, which was absolutely mind-blowing. I think there was not a single person he came in contact with and he does not touch them, in some kind of an inspirational way. And that is why we call him, what Sameer pointed out, the quintessential sunshine person. Well, there were lots of dark clouds in his life at some point of time, but he was most of his life sunshine person. And with his creations, he has given us so much of sunshine that will last us for generations. Yes, Kololda, I can see, yes, Flores was there. Deepan Chatterjee was sound engineer, yes. Sameer, I can see you are. I am in touch with Panties musician also. Now we are not talking about bras and panties on this platform, right? So we are already circulating among stock. So I know it's a spelling error, but I'm glad to know that. And we eagerly for Pancham the part 2. Yes, part 2, well, part 2 was in a way that knowing Pancham, which was 5 hours of extra material that I had from after the film, which I could share. But now the part 2 or part 3, so to say, the will be the Pancham legacy if I manage to make that. I think there's a lot that I have in mind that can be done as 6 1 hour. Anyone having any understanding, any idea about funding pockets can please get in touch with me. We need money to make that, and I think it's going to be a lifelong treasure again for years to come, for generations. Sushmita Biswas, yes, I'm in touch with Pantera's musician. Yes, Samir, I can see that you are no longer in touch with Panty's musician. Pancham's Candy, what about Pancham's Bengali songs? Add them too. Pancham's Bengali song, they're great compositions, and a lot of them would get recreated at that in those days itself as Hindi songs, because the HMV was the common recording label. So first he would record these puja songs, which was the popular songs, and then if some of those songs would sound good, great, and cult potential, I think so many of them had, he would have the producers lined up for them. I can see also Manori does help. Okay, Mohra Gavankar, that is Mohra Didi's help. Yes, we aren't circulating the balance stock of Pantera LPs, US made. Yes, great. What about Pancham's Bengali song? Is Chaita. Out of all the people you interviewed in this feature, who was your favorite? I don't know. I think so many of them, they all spoke so lovingly, so affectionately, so understandingly, so insightfully, so emotionally. But I think, yes, I go a lot by Guldar Saab, Vishal Bharadwaj, Amit Kumar. I mean, there's so much of love in whatever he said, and a lot of people actually who add some very interesting perspectives to his. So I think these would be 4-5 of my big favorites, but then almost everyone. Kalyan Banerjee, what about Mone Pode Ruby Rai? Of course, old add Bengali composition of RD. Add where? Kalolla. In fact, RD sir used to sing in Bengali to the artists, musicians while recording the Hindi tracks. Well, from what I know is that he would write all the Hindi lyrics in Bengali script. That was for sure. And he used to sing Bengali to the artists and musicians while recording the Hindi tracks. Maybe, I'm not very sure about that. Sataru, how about sharing your stories of your bong connection? Believe that you had a fairly long stint of your early working days in Calcutta. Well, yes, I have. That's why I said I'm half Bengali, in the sense that anybody who's stayed in Calcutta for more than 2 years will become half Bengali. So my formative years, some of my best years were in Calcutta. I did my college in Calcutta, and that college years was where I used to debate. I used to, Calcutta has this strange debating culture, which I don't know if it still has. They would announce a topic, rent out a mini Kalamandir or something like that, and people would actually turn up to listen to 5-6 people on the panel to talk about that. That was, I'm talking about 30 years back. It had that kind of a culture, 35 years back. And so I used to debate a lot. I used to write for newspapers. I used to do a lot of plays. I used to do a lot of radio programs, television stuff, research, and of course music. So I think that was quite an amazing phase. I would say that I always say that it gives me wings to fly, and I think that can happen in a place like Calcutta. There's so much happening all the time. If you are excited and you want to throw yourself headlong into that, then there's always something that you can grab and do great. How about share? Yes. So Kololda, I have some of the Rush tracks in RD's voice. Yeah, Rush tracks. I think what you mean is the recording sessions, right? Or are you talking about the Rush tracks of the Bengali compositions before he would go and record it in the studio? Because I think there are lots of compositions which later became Hindi compositions, which he would record in his Bengali voice, but that he would generally take the tune. He would do a lot of da 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 da, lara lara, and a lot of things where he would, mention the whole song sometimes in Hindi. If he's sending it to Gulshan Bawra and he is giving direction of कौन से पुल के बाद क्या आएगा, कहाँ से मुड़ना है, कहाँ से उतरना है, उसी में 4 गालियाँ भी दे देते थे और फिर बोलते थे कि अंजू को मत बताना, वो सब. So all these kinds of things, and in fact a few of them Gulshan Bawra actually and the producers retained what went as just instruction. And but yes, there would be a lot of songs which he would sometimes spell out a word, or two, a phrase or so in Bengali, and would go to these producers, that okay, do you like it, or go to the singers. So I have some of Rush tracks. Yes, so I think you are mentioning that, and add in the next film of yours. Yes, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Next series that I'm talking about, Pancham Legacy, I will look forward to a lot of material of this kind. Whoever can help. I know of a lot of people who have these things. Some of them are very rare. Some of them are not so rare. But for me, all those are very helpful in trying to put them together and present it to people who would really enjoy. So yes, I will take your suggestion on that. Some more musicians weren't featured in, yes, so absolutely. So that will be, so this Pancham Legacy will give that again an opportunity that many of these great musicians that I missed because of my ignorance or because of some other constraints, I will be able to get back to them and feature them. Satkar, very seldom now. The Telegraph does it sometimes. Okay, you're talking about the debates and the events. Yes, I think that whole culture tempo is very different today. I mean, even in the 80s, you would find that a lot of these art. One second. A lot of these newspapers would have art columns, culture columns. That has gone down. There used to be radios where there would be classical music, classical programs on medium wave. That thing is very low, and there's not a single FM yet which has even considered playing classical music. I think 1 or 2 at best play ghazals. That's it, but nothing in terms of classical music yet. So those times have changed a lot. Telegraph probably does it, I'm not very aware of, but things have changed a lot. But for one loss you have another gain. You have now all these Zoom performances, and you have Zoom meetings, and you have Zoom sessions and WebEx sessions, and all those things happening. So times change, but yes, in those days, I think Calcutta was very different and very exciting. Arabinda Chakrabarti, how much did RDB got influenced by his father's style of music? Was looking for this in the film. Um, yes, I did not go too much into it, maybe because of time constraints. In the 4 hour cut that I had as the first lineup, there was a lot of this. Mm, but I think that the foundation was very, very much through Sachinda, and I think the pukar element that you find in his song, the melody element that you find in all his compositions, the compositional grace that you find in his compositions, I think they are all greatly influenced by Sachinda. Like Manna Day had told me once that उसका composition में grace बहुत होता था, you know, the मुखड़े का अंतरा का ये सब का एक चलन he used to say. And I come from a little bit of a musical family, so I have heard a lot of these ustads and gurus talking about compositions, and one of them had described it so well. He had said that बंदिश की चलन ऐसी होनी चाहिए कि लगे कि बादशाह की सवारी आ रही हो, तो इतना ग्रेस होना चाहिए, एलिगेंस होना चाहिए. तो आई थिंक दैट I could see so much in all of R.D. Burman's composition. There's no composition which is chechada. You know, there's not a single composition which does not have that inherent elegance, inherent grace. And I think that element came from S.D. Burman. Then the Bhatyali element, the folk element came from S.D. Burman. Though he explored, I think a lot of things came from S.D. Burman, and he grabbed it and he explored it way beyond. He explored it. Pancham was a very keen learner that way. So if he learned probably 40 things from S.D. Burman, he probably increased it to 200. And after a big grounding with Indian classical, Indian rhythm, so from Brojan Bishwas and Samta Prasad ji and Ali Akbar Khan Sahab and all these people, I think that what started happening was the Western influence made such a good balance that he retained that melody element, he retained that grace in Chalan element, and yet he could do 400 things with his influence of Western music. And I think that is what made his music so strong, powerful, compelling and unique. And I think your connection with the Kumar family, I mean Uttam Kumar family, I don't have any connection with Uttam Kumar family in the sense that I lived in his house, 25 Girish Mukherjee Road in Bhawanipur for 3.5 years. And I had probably the most celebrated address in Calcutta, though it had happened in a very, very strange way. Long story. But I was looking for this place, and somebody told me that okay, there is one paying guest arrangement that I can get you organized there in that building. So that became a very prized address that I had as a student in Calcutta. But I think I got to know a little bit about Uttam Kumar and his son Gautam and his brother Tarun Kumar and all these things, because they would all live in the same. And unlike Bombay and unlike today, those were the days when people would meet each other. There was no preoccupation with WhatsApp and Facebook, so that was the only way to know. People would talk to each other, people would spend time. in spite of it being metro cities and everyone busy with their work. Tell us a bit about R.D. Kishore connection, the best songs with KK. I think Candy, the Kishore R.D. combo is entirely because, like he himself said, I mean, when Kishore Kumar passed away, he said that my soul is gone. I cannot create music anymore. And I think that could be the greatest compliment probably to the partnership. Just like you have RD Gulzar partnership, you have RD Asha partnership, you have RD Kishore partnership. And I think, and it was like, they say that when there is a sync, there's a resonance, then 1 plus 1 is not 2. 1 plus 1 can be 36, and it can be 200, and it can be 4,000, it can be anything. So I think that partnership, certain partnerships are not 2 people, it becomes like 4,000 people. And I think RD Kishore partnership was like that. The nuances, the khatka, and Kishore Kumar would add a lot of value to RD's compositions again, in not just the way that he would present it, but also sometimes help him create mukhras and antara, like, and it started right from the film, Mahmood's Association, Jago Sone Walo, for example. Kishore Kumar's contribution in that song is so huge, so huge. And I think it continued like that. It continued like that because one would think, the other would grasp it, the other would grab it, and would develop it more. So I think it was an amazing. I know of many people who saw the film, this Pancham Unmixed film, who told me that they became RD fans because first they were Kishore Kumar fans. So they were Kishore Kumar fans, and then invariably every third song that Kishore Kumar sang and which they liked turned out that, well, this was composed by R.D. Burman. So they became, so I think that was the magic probably. And the best of R.D.'s composition is with some of them are with Asha Bhosle, some of them are with Kishore Kumar, some with Gulzar. I think teams create magic always, and Kishore Kumar and RD were amazing in terms of their partnership and the cohesiveness of that partnership and the result of that partnership. Dil Padosi Hai, Kalolda album's many tracks were first recorded in Bengali but never released. Yes, this is something very interesting. You are right. Yes, but the lyrics were not written by Gulzar. Those were, Dil Padosi Hai, R.D. Burman used to call Gulzar Sahab कि चलो वो फालतू का काम करते हैं, because it started off with Gulzar Sahab writing some songs which could not fit into the film, or I would say that film's maturity level at that point of time did not allow those lyrics to be recorded. So they decided that they will go and record an independent album. So I think that probably RD had a lot of tunes which was in Bengali, and he must have taken many of them with RD's composition. By the way, Dil Padosi Hai में आशा भोसले जी का काफ़ी हाथ है in terms of getting it off the just sitting room stage and get it out from HMV. But I think what an album, like, it's mind-blowing thing. Phire Esho Anuradha, one of RD song was great. Yes. Phire Esho Anuradha. Da 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 da. Tarara Priyatama. Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa, that name can be only Bengali name. Either French name or Bengali name. Yes. I think Pancham sir made a track with ABBA also. Not ABBA, I think Boy George, you mean. If I am Samir can fill me up better on this, but I don't think it was ABBA. I think it was Boy George which they made. Uh, Ragam is 24 hours on Vivid Bharati. Yeah, Vivid Bharati. Okay, Vivid Bharati, but um, on FM, or is it on medium wave? Sataru Sarkar. RD did the best of his career with Kishore. Yes, Malay Nandi. Yes, one example, Ek Chatur Nar. Yes, that was madness, complete madness. I think if you can have such musical madness, it was like uh, crazy fun happening all over, and with what perfection, what level of artistry, what level of classical elements inside, classical element mixed with fun. You have never seen anything like this before or after, I think. And I just saw somewhere, was it Samir, I think, who put in one of the groups where out of the hundreds and hundreds and thousands of tracks that Saregama has, they have taken Vale 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 from Ek Chatur Nar as a 10-seconder or 20-seconder on their logo. I don't know what that is for, but I think in retrospect music, something this again amazing. What amazes me is that out of so many choices, why are companies still taking R.D. Burman? After so many choices for a stage performance, why is a Western group singing Mehbooba oh Mehbooba? Out of so many choices with so much of money, why is Apple iPhone X iPhone 10 ad choosing the burning train, 1 minute 6 seconds, exactly as it is, no changes? Why is Heineken beers, after 40 years after, choosing Hare Rama Hare Krishna track? Why is Saregama taking Ek Chaturnar ka signature tune for 10 seconds? The magic is absolutely compelling. I think people are not able to stay away from his music still till date. That's the hallmark of legacy, I think. What's the best review you have got for Pancham Unmixed, and by whom? Uh, Dada, I have like 2000 um, feedback and testimonials on Pancham Unmixed, more than that. And एक से बढ़ के एक सभी है. I think there was something that touched me very much, was when it was being launched in Calcutta, there was someone who had come and told me in my ears this, in my ears meaning, he told me in a very private moment that this is what it is, and I thought it was a good compliment. I was very touched, and I think a few years later, Ronu Majumdar came and said the same thing. And the compliment was that, I don't know what compelled you to do this film, but I think you have done what a son would have done to Panchamda. So I think like that was probably one of the most amazing compliments that one can receive. what the film has done to people is something that I have constantly heard. But there was another very different but amazing review se ज़्यादा compliment was a set of musicians from Mauritius, Anand Nithu. Okay, he wrote to me saying that after he saw the film, he turned musician. So he was going through a very tough time. He was separated from his wife, and he had a daughter 10 years old, son 8 years old, and he had this film which they continuously saw many times. And he said that it spurred me to become musician. I was not a musician before that. And today, 12 years later, when the daughter is now probably 22, son is 20, and he's 12 years older himself, they have a band, they perform all over, they compose music, they compose, the daughter plays keys, son plays drums, and the father who wrote to me said that he's become musician because of this film, and so on and so forth. So all kinds of I think reviews have been very sweet, very nice, and I was very impressed that Mubi selected this film among the film of the month. Now, Mubi is a very prestigious platform, international platform. I think it has a tie-up with iTunes, where they recommend films, and for Mubi to select this film among the films was quite mind-blowing. Well, I've had brickbats also. I've had 10 or 12, 10 or 20 not so complimentary things to hear about the film, but that is out of some 4,000 positive things that I have heard about the film, either written or recorded or in person. And that is really, really amazing. Supriyo Bodan, Mr. by Boy George and Ashatai. Yes, Boy George and Ashatai. I'm not yet aware of ABBA, but if anyone knows, I'll be happy to know. Please sing a Bengali gan for us. Suchishmita Vishwas. Bengali gan. মনে পড়ে রুবি রায় কবিতায় তোমাকে একদিন কত করে ডেকেছি আজ হায় রুবি রায় ডেকে বলো আমি তাই তোমাকে কোথায় যেন দেখেছি মনে পড়ে রুবি রায় রোদনবেলা দুপুরে সরু তোলে নুপুরে বাস থেকে তুমি যবে নামতে একটি কিশোর ছেলে একা কেন দাঁড়িয়েছে সে কথা কি কোনো দিনও ভাবতে মনে পড়ে it's a beautiful song, even the lyrics, and this was the first time that Sachin Bhaumik ever wrote a song in his life. He was a very veteran scriptwriter, screenplay writer, but this was the first time that that RD asked him to write a song. And we all joke a lot, and we have pulled his leg also, that we have heard that in presidency there was a girl called Chobirai, and you were in love with, and you had your heartbreak, and you had your crush, and that's why you wrote. But there's one image which is so powerful, which is Deep Jala Shandhai. So Deep Jala Shandhai হৃদয়ের জানলায় কান্নার খাঁচা শুধু রেখেছি হে হে পাখি সে তো আসে নেই তুমি ভালোবাসে নেই একা একা পদ চেয়ে থেকেছি something. So that কান্নার খাঁচা শুধু রেখেছি, a cage made of tears. I think that is something that really hits me very hard still. कान्नार खांचा पाखी से तो आसे नहीं तुम्हें भालोबासे नहीं. So खांच बना के रखा हुआ है मगर ना तो पंछी आता है ना तुम भालोबासता है तुम मेरे को. तो so I sang a Bengali song for you. Asha ji made a track with Boy George. Yes, Pancham is reborn in more and more folks. That's why, yes. Wow, just wow feedback. Yes, great to hear Panditji's comment. I would said as a brother who wanted to keep him near. Top two feedbacks really. Really, there are all kinds of feedbacks, but these two are very interesting feedbacks. There is one where it was being screened in Ahmedabad at a film festival, and I received a long Facebook message from someone in US who said that she named a Gujarati musician, and she said that the day you are screening your film in Ahmedabad, around the same time this gentleman from Ahmedabad, my Guruji, was in US, and he was a musician who used to play sitar for R.D. Burman, to whom R.D. Burman had given something, and it was a very memorable gift for him. He had treasured it all his life. So she happened to show him that film that day, around the same time that it was being screened in Ahmedabad. And she said that, he was suffering from cancer for the past 2.5 years, and he had not even touched his instrument for about 1.5 years or so. And after he saw the film, he went in a very strange zone, and he quietly went and picked up the sitar and he started playing. So I think things like these, it talks a lot about what the film does. So these are all, when you hear these as feedback, they are amazing feedback comments about what the film does to people. Want to hear a Pancham song? Abhi to gaya. Very nice song. Yes. Where you are explaining, yes. So I think, how long have we gone? We have already touched almost an hour. Are you guys still good to go? Good to go or good to go on? I think we can wind up if you say so. Supriyo and Sataru, everyone, and Kailash ji. Yes, Kailash ji was my association through the recent film that I made on child labor. The film is called Chalte. It's it's been taken by international distributors, and it's being renamed 150 million sparrows, 150 million magical sparrows. It's based on the folk song that it has, the traditional folk song, and it was based on efforts that Kailash Satyarthi does. Again, it moves me very much that he has in his lifetime freed 85,000 children. He has rescued them, given them a life, given them a new lease of life, really. Pancham song, you always want to hear कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे तो कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे गा देता हूँ. And with that, maybe we can then wind up. कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना, छोड़ो बेकार की बातों में कहीं बीत न जाए रहना, कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोगों का काम है कहना. Okay, so thank you very much. Thank you everyone for being here. And I think, though I like to hear the other questions and sounds and inputs also. So I'm not a great Facebook Live person, but I have enjoyed here um, talking to you here, and a little one-sided, but I have loved it. So thank you very much. And yes, please do write whatever you felt about the film. Give it to Sataru or send it to me straight. You can mail it or WhatsApp it. You can take my number, and I'll be very happy to know what it did to you. This is one film which I'm told that no matter how many times, I think when the film screening had started, I received a quick one from Supriyo that I have seen it so many times and still it seems like I can see it so many times more. So thank you very much, and thank you very much everyone, and I hope this went off well and your screening went off well, and hope to see you and connect with you soon again. Thank you very much, and thank you uh, Chalte, and thank you Sataru, and thank you Supriyo who connected me to Sataru so for this lovely occasion. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye bye.